Okay, welcome to Blue and Gray. This episode is brought to you by Blood Letters Are Us. All your frogs and leeches for your bubo needs.
Okay.
And I think our shameful plugs are, there's not any except for basically this whole episode, right?
Yeah, I think this is the first episode coming off of the NPR Tiny Desk blog feature that we somehow made. We somehow made that blog post on NPR. So I think we have like a few new listeners that are complete strangers to us. Before that point in time, it was just our immediate friends and or family. So welcome. This is what we do. Hope you like it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry it's going to be the same song that you already came here for, but at least you'll get some stories about it, you know?
Yeah.
But we are in quarantine, so we can't really record new music right now. We did our best with the intro and outro, long distance.
Yeah, we always record fresh songs or beats or whatever for the intros and outros, so that's always going to change. We always record one song that like either Sean or myself have written or a special guest.
And then we try to record it as much live as possible, right? I mean, but sometimes do overdubs and stuff like that, but basically a few takes. We don't try to like over rehearse it or anything, so we keep that raw sound, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That sounds.
We have like a little intro that we do some talking, and then we talk about the song and whatever conversational spin-offs we have off of those. So here we go. We're in it for real now. We have.
Yeah, right. We have to perform. Yeah. So usually we have a list of stuff we're going to talk about. But we're actually not sitting in the same room for the first time ever on this podcast. So I guess we have to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in everybody's room right now, which is the coronavirus and being quarantined. My side of it is I got unpaid furloughed from my job, and I have a crazy living situation and everything. So I was like, you know what? My sister has a cabin on 3 acres up in the Adirondacks, and I just drove 6 hours up to the Adirondacks to get away from everything for a while. I don't know how long, but it was crazy. On the drive up, every 20 miles or so, there was a big construction sign that usually would say, "Caution, road work ahead," but it would say, "Stay home, save lives." And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going home. I'm getting out of home. And literally like 2 days after I left, they did this special quarantine that like if you go into Delaware from out of state, you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh man, I can't go back now.
Yeah, I've been hunkering down. I'm committed to achieving Howard Hughes level of crazy. I've stopped shaving. I've stopped clipping my nails. I'm wearing a diaper.
I think of that image of him with a diaper and like tissue boxes for shoes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
That's Yejoon right now. He's got a giant beard, huge fingernails, tissue boxes on his feet. Yeah.
Nick's playing guitar tough, but we'll figure that out as it comes.
Bah! To hell with this! Get my razor, draw a bath, and get these Kleenex boxes off my feet.
So here's a song that we put together for the NPR Tiny Desk thing. You've heard it already, and now you're going to hear it again. So, Just Like Marilyn.
Hi, Tiny Desk.
Small town
Just Like Marilyn, that was a song that I wrote. And it was about growing up in Indiana. Like, I would see people who were definitely, let's say, a little more country than myself. And a few of them, like, were really ignorant, and then I had problems with them. But, like, in general, I thought, hey, some of them are a bit ignorant, and some of them are kind of dicks. Some of them I get along fine with, and it's just, like, a regular interaction. We're friends. But back then, I could believe that we still both saw each other as people, and that we had, like, a fundamental respect for each other, even if we were, not really friends. And I grew older, and I grew more disillusioned with America the more I learned about it. Like, it was supposed to be this, they lie to you, that it's this shining beacon of freedom and discovery, and then you find out that it's like, really, it's just exploitation, slavery, corruption, making the rich richer, and stepping on the backs of the poor, and all this horrible shit. And that's when I came to get a little more upset with the country and disengaged and apathetic, cynical. And within recent years, it's just been like, the mask is off. Did that even happen back then when I was growing up? Like, did we see each other as human? Because it feels like now they want me dead. I think they want me dead, all the Trump supporters. I don't think they want me alive in their country.
Yeah. I mean, my experience is totally different than yours because, for one, I didn't grow up in the Midwest, but it is kind of weird. Like, it feels like a hidden America is now exposed.
Yeah.
And that is the line in the song where you're like, in retrospect, was it always like this? I guess is the universal question. Yeah, like, because there were so many people that after sort of the shift in America happened in the last 4 years, I guess, or more, that I knew my whole life as not being racist, hateful people, and now they are. And it's like, were you always this way? And you just, like, kind of hid that part of you because it wasn't really socially acceptable. But now that, and I don't think it's socially acceptable anymore, but at least there's you have a voice for it now. Yeah, it's a little spooky that, like, have you taught, like, if you go back and talk or find those people you went to high school with, do you think they're like, tiki torch holding Trumpsters, and they wouldn't even look you in the eye now? Like, they were.
Right. And even more recently with the whole coronavirus, the Chinese virus thing that went on, I've seen stories in the news talking about aggression towards Asian Americans.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm highly politically active. I've been involved in progressive movement in the campaigns. But, like, that was exactly one of the big motives for me for getting involved was I saw black people getting shot by the police. I saw these mass shootings in, like, synagogues, the mosques, and what happened in that nightclub. And then I saw ICE. They would even detain American citizens who were Hispanic. There were stories of that. And I saw the child separations at the border and right into the cages, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm next. I'm next on the chopping block because I'm Asian, and now it's happening. I'm like, shit, this is what I thought would happen, and it's happening.
I saw a post where somebody was talking about coronavirus and how it was just like a hippy dippy thing where he was like, Mother Earth is punishing us for hurting the planet, and this is her way of telling us to, like, cool down, man. Right. And immediately people were posting like, it's not Mother Earth, it's China. It's China's fault, And it was like, don't protect the Chinese, and it was like, oh my gosh. Like,
so yeah, that right out the gate, that was the song. That was the motives behind it. So I've been wanting to talk about it, and I might as well now. I tried the other week to think of, like, an Asian American frontman. Can you do it? I can't.
Oh,
There's
man.
not an Asian American frontman in a, like, nationally known rock band.
Well, wasn't the guy from Journey the new replacement one?
The
Isn't he
replacement.
from, like,
I think, yeah.
he's from, like, It's from like
I don't know
Singapore or
if that
something.
Yeah,
It doesn't count though. He wasn't he wasn't
he's
the
basically
originator.
a cover
I know.
artist.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an original act. All right, that's you, man.
And I'd noticed
It's
like
the weight you bear.
the thing before we actually submitted, I looked through like the entries of the other blog posts of the featured submissions, and I'm like, oh man, there's not any Asians up here. I mean, I think some of them might be mixed, but like, you know, when I'm scrolling through something and being like super Korean, so when I see that, I'm like, looking back now, like during that period of time where I wanted to like make it as a musician, if I look at rock music, I think it is statistically impossible. Like literally statistically impossible for me to make it.
Is it? Oh, I mean, that's actually an interesting topic. I mean, is it kind of discouraging to not see that, like not see yourself out there?
I was too self-absorbed to know or care, I would say.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. And I still don't really care. Like, I would never want to be known. It's like, oh, he's like the first Asian American guy who made it. Like, that would be weird too. And I did look through the NPR submissions, just like all of them unfiltered. And there aren't a whole lot of Asian American guys putting their stuff up. So I'm not faulting NPR at all. I think there's like a certain level of self-selection because if I think of other genres, electronic music or hip hop, you know,
K-pop.
yeah. There's definitely other genres where Asian, we're not like at the forefront, but they're more prominent because like Chad Hugo or remember Far East Movement, like a G6, that single? Steve Aoki, he's huge. But within rock music, I can think of James Iha, and he wasn't the main.
Well, Pixies isn't the other guitarist? Isn't he Asian?
Yeah, Joey Santiago.
Yeah. Still not frontman though.
No. Oh, you know what? There was one guy, Dirty Beaches, but his music is like super niche and like esoteric, so it's not anything that would get pushed into the mainstream. There's also a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are successful Asian American women within rock music, like the lady from Deerhoof. There's
Deerhoof.
Let's see.
Oh, is she like half Asian?
Yes. Yeah, Karen O. She's half Korean. And then there's Mitski and Japanese Breakfast. But these are all still like indie artists, you know? So it's still like a subset of a subgenre. But yeah, that's
interesting. You know, I never really thought of it. Now that you mention it and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, that is crazy.
I thought about
It's crazy. I can't.
what's the
Now
right
I kind of like want
response
to
to
Google it.
I've Googled because it like nagged at me for a little bit. And
You did Google it?
did you know
Okay.
Eddie Van Halen is part Indonesian, which kind of, I was like, oh, really? Huh. I never would have guessed.
He's still not the front man. It's just the name of the band, but he's not the front man.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic, though, to kind of like talk about Asians and rock music, because
And it's funny, like, even like down to...
I want to be like, I found a band, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I forgot about them, but I'm not even gonna Google it.
I want to have that as well. And I think, like, I don't want to say, like, because nobody that I've really met within, like, the rock scene or that I've talked to, like, rock music is never, I never felt like, oh, man, that guy's kind of racist. Or, like, these guys in power are racist. Maybe institutionally the deck is stacked against Asians or something. I don't know. I don't want to say that because, like I said, it is a little self-selecting just from the types of people who might like rock.
Yeah, I don't. It's actually kind of. There's probably a dissertation or something on it somewhere.
Yeah. Somebody's got to.
Yeah. I don't know. The first big band relatively successful band I was in, the drummer was Korean. So.
Oh, cool.
So I've worked with 2 Korean musicians, which now I know is a very small minority of rock music.
And like Hispanics, blacks are also like lower percentage, but they're there, you know, there's at least one or a few here or there that you can.
Yeah, but there isn't like a Jimi Hendrix or Carlos Santana of the Asian rock world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
And a lot of Japanese rock bands get popular and then gain notoriety here, but I think it's a little different in that they don't, when they're in that beginning momentum gaining phase of it, they're not confronted with like any cultural bias because they're coming up in Japan, and so they're never challenged with like breaking any people's conceptions of what a rock musician looks like.
yeah. And a lot of times when they cross over, it's kind of, I don't know, kitschy or something about it.
It is. There's that's definitely a thing. Like it's like, oh, it's J rock, or it's they're Japanese post-punk band or something.
Yeah, or they're Japanese surfer rock, like from Kill Bill, whatever that band was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like a joke, you know? And like, I'm sure that band didn't think they were a joke, but like, certainly, I can't remember the name of that band, but they, cause like, they probably a very serious band, but like, the way they were used in the movie was kind of jokey, you know?
Yeah.
Gimmicky. That's the
Gimmicky.
word.
That's the selling point. And I don't want to detract from what the Asian American women have accomplished in music. I think they're all very talented. But there's always been a level of, just in the American mass media, of exoticizing and fetishizing Asian women. Whereas the men, it's been a story of like ridicule or emasculating Asian American men. Although I think that's changing now for the better. Like Parasite got a bunch of accolades.
Oh yeah. And yeah, won Best Picture. It was the first foreign film to win Best Picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. It's like whenever you think you're turning a corner on things, like it's like a new things come up, and it's I hope before I die we're like all earthlings, you know.
I hope so too.
It's so tough. I mean, I've had arguments with people who, you know, they don't necessarily think they're bigoted, but they kind of pull like that statistically, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they'll say, you know, well, yeah, you know, women get paid less because statistically they get more time off and they have to spend more time, you know, and it's like, yeah, I get it. You like statistically you're right, but you can't take a section of the population where there were laws against them. They weren't able to do everything that everyone else could do, you know, institutionalized sexism or racism, and then kind of like go back and go, yeah, but it's not like that anymore. I was like, yeah, but it was less than 100 years ago when it was like that. So it's like, come on, like, so it's like these crazy arguments, like even with Asians, it's like we threw them in concentration camps, you know, less than 100 years ago, you know.
That thought came to mind, man. Like,
yeah,
with everything that's going on, I'm like, it wasn't that long ago that we had Japanese internment camps.
It's scary because like if you I don't want to say whitewash, but if you kind of like minimize the fact that those things were just barely a generation ago, it makes it that much easier for them to happen again. Because you're basically saying, oh, that was a long time ago. And it's like, yeah, it really wasn't. You know?
Yeah. And I am amazed. Like, I never thought growing up, and I thought it was not a lie. I thought it was, you know, reality that you'd never see a group of Americans that would legit be neo-Nazis. I mean, aside from these fringe factions, but like now things are looking a little different. And that didn't happen long ago.
Yeah. But also plagues. I thought we got rid of plagues too.
How fucking weird and ridiculous is this that I'm talking to you through a video conference to churn out our next podcast episode.
But we're talking about racism and plagues that are happening right. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so like a weird inflation of futurism. It's like, this is the future technologically, but socially we're like going backwards.
This is the worst simulation timeline.
Somebody reboot the servers right now, please. Yeah. Something went horribly wrong with your experiment. Whatever alien overlords are running this simulation, turn it off. Turn it off.
I don't know if it's a meme, but Alex, you told me the other day, you know what's going to happen next month? everyone who died of coronavirus is going to come back. That's the next step.
Oh no. Oh, that'd be crazy. It'd be like a John Prine zombie singing in the streets. Did you see that the lead singer of Fountains of Wayne passed away from coronavirus?
No.
He did, and I thought it was funny. One of the few comments on our NPR thing was like, "Wow, you remind me of Fountains of Wayne." I know. Don't worry. I commented as Blue and Gray and said, "Such a sad day today."
Oh, okay, good.
When the guy passed away, so it makes us look really compassionate.
Good. Because,
but that is crazy, man.
that's all you, by the way. I can't look at those things and feel like I looked at the view count once. I'm like, holy shit, balls, and then I walked backwards out of that room.
And I'd like to say that shit balls is a less of a curse word than just saying shit, right?
Sure.
Like, it seemed like you were editing yourself. You're like, holy shit, balls.
I was. Called me out on it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
It's like, when somebody says God damn and they bleep out the God. It's like that kind of thing. But you just add a balls to the end of shit. Yeah, so all those major networks, if you want to edit shit out, just add balls right after it. Just like a canned computer voice saying balls.
Balls.
It's like, oh shit.
Balls.
Oh, shit.
Balls.
And I just edited you.
Yeah, I'll edit them in.
You should go back and find any time we said shit
Balls.
in every single podcast and put just like a mechanical
Balls.
after it and then re-upload them as the edited podcast. Oh god, this is cabin fever. Oh man. Oh.
We're at like a healthy 35 minutes, going on 40.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. This is a good end point before we actually go mad online. Oh man.
Okay.
All right. Whew, what a crazy world.
If you made it this far, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Survive.
Yeah. Good luck. Stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Bubo.
It's Bubo. That's what our sponsor asked us to say and pronounce it, and I looked it up. It's bubonic plague.
No.
It's bubonic plague. It's not bubonic plague. I've been saying bubonic like a 6-year-old idiot for my entire life.
38 years, and I've been saying bubonic, like nuclear.
I'll tell you what, try saying bubonic to somebody and see if they don't give you like a side eye or something. It's like saying croissant or something. It's correct, but nobody wants to hear that.